as the visionary in your business, for most CEOs are visionaries, you need an integrator that is going to be excited about what you're doing too, but also be able to filter it. I had an operator once that would get mad at me when I had ideas, and then it would, make me feel suffocated. Like, but this idea could lead to more revenue.
I want to circle back to hiring. I wrote down some questions that I wanted to ask because I know, so you hired your first video editor and you scaled pretty rapidly. I mean, in 3 years, you went from dental hygienist to somebody with a team and a pretty good following and $1 million a year business.
Yeah.
So how did you, first off, who was your hardest person to hire? What position?
I would say between my copywriter, because finding someone to write in your voice and the right message, that was hard. And I don't know if it's just me, like my creative vision for that, or my voice, that I'm very specific about not being too fluffy, not being just too stats and cold hard facts. I want to tell a story. I want to be entertaining, but I also don't want to be like, golly gee, like I can't stand the fluff. So I'm very specific about how my messaging comes across. So copywriting, and then also my operations manager, like finding that person to be your right hand and to think like you do, and to hopefully see like the steps ahead of you to guide you before you get there. Because also as the visionary in your business, for most CEOs are visionaries, you need an integrator that is going to be excited about what you're doing too, but also be able to filter it. I had an operator once that would get mad at me when I had ideas, and then it would, make me feel suffocated. Like, but this idea could lead to more revenue, or hey, this email isn't working. We have to tweak it to make it convert better. And then, it sometimes feels shut down. Like, no, we can't just change things. And it's like, no, that's business, and don't take this personally. So yeah, that was the other difficult position to hire, was the operator that would go hand in hand with being a visionary.
I think that's the position that everybody wants, right? That's the position that all entrepreneurs want. If I just had somebody that could implement for me and help me do the stuff that I don't want to do, so I can free up and be a visionary.
Yeah.
So how many operators did you go through to get to the one that you have?
I think 4.
And what lessons did you learn along the way? Like, how did you get better at hiring? Because I think that, I know Sharfin talks about it a lot. I know you worked with him. Was he like, he's awesome, but I'd be interested to see how he helped you and how you framed the hiring process to get better at hiring the right person.
I really like what Sharfin says too, about oftentimes it's the process, not the person. So I also don't want to say about all those previous operations managers that I had that there was anything wrong with them. It could have worked out. Maybe I needed to change my process. Maybe we need to change our communication, or maybe they were better suited for a different role instead of operations, maybe with their DISC assessment, which I also think is really important to look at. Like, what are their values? How do they operate? That's really important to look at. So I think the things that I learned was also knowing more about who I am. Like, when I was, I guess, in that situation that I mentioned about, if I would have an idea and then my operations manager would be like, no, we can't do that. I think it now, with the self-awareness I'd have, would be like, let me explain to you why. Like, just sometimes also them understanding your reasoning and having that open communication can change everything. She might have thought that she was trying to protect me from something. I was thinking we need this to convert. And both opinions are very valid. So I think also my self-awareness and how I communicate and knowing more about personalities would have maybe made that relationship better.
That's a really good introspective point, because I think a lot of people would have said, I'm the boss. This is what I say go.
What I say goes. But what if they actually have a really good point?
Well, that's the thing. Like, any boss who says that, like, they're missing out on being a real, like, having a really cohesive team, because your team members need to be heard. You hired them for a reason. You obviously trusted them when you hired them. So the DISC assessment you touched on, which I think everybody should do that before they hire. Have you ever hired somebody that you didn't like right away? Maybe I'm framing that question wrong,
Mm.
because a lot of times people hire because they're like, oh my God, I like this person so much. But that doesn't mean they're going to be a good employee, right? You put them through a lot of tests. Do you get objective feedback on the tests before you hire? Does your team help you?
Yeah. In one of the last rounds of the interview hiring process, other team members get involved too. It's not just me. And my executive assistant takes care of all of our recruitment. And I trust her very much when it comes to just how she reads people. And she has a lot more experience when it comes to recruitment for lots of different industries. She came from oil and gas to now come to what we were in now. She has a lot of experience. So she brings to the table, like, yes, you might have liked their personality and their sense of humor, but from their resume, they haven't held down a job for more than 3 months at a time. Okay, red flag there. So yeah, we definitely get other opinions, especially coming from all different companies before. Maybe they worked with someone of that personality type that they might want to ask a few more questions before coming to. I can't think of me hiring someone that I didn't like. I think in general, like, you want to be excited about the people that you hire. And if you're not, that's you don't hire them. I would rather keep looking than be lukewarm about anything.